Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. Our other co-host, Mr. Russell Cato, is unavailable for us today, but Russ knows that we miss him and we'll carry on. We also have in the studio an illustrious guest, a dynamic guest by the name of Toriano Parker. Toriano, former operator of the Martin Luther King Parade here in St. Petersburg. Also, Toriano owns a restaurant, Toriano's DAIQUIRI and Pizza restaurant, 62nd Avenue South St. Pete. And he owns a tax service. Toriano Parker, the man of the hour. But Toriano is here today to talk about an issue that affected him not too long ago, and it still does today. He lost his sight. He lost his sight. And he's going to share with us information relative to that particular loss. And we're going to be forever grateful for Toriano's willingness to share this information with our audience. Toriano, welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast.
Hey, thank you both for having me. Appreciate it.
By all means, we appreciate you being here. Toriano, if you don't mind, please share a little information about yourself with our audience, such as where were you born, raised, and educated?
Great. I was born in St. Petersburg, Florida. Actually, I grew up right down the street from here on 37th Street, an apartment complex called D. Moore. Kind of very reluctant to be here because I remember when this building wasn't here when I was young, and I crossed through this lot to go to cash and carry.
Yeah.
Also went off to college and got a accounting degree and a Bachelor of Science and continued on education from there. And pretty much been in the business sector for about 30 years.
30 years in the business sector.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Toriano, tell us, please, what do you attribute your loss of sight to?
I lost my sight to something that I've been afflicted upon a lot of African Americans for a long time, glaucoma. Pretty experience that I had it around maybe 2007, 2008. At that point, I was a suspect of glaucoma. It kind of goes through stages, like you're a suspect first of possibility, and then it becomes you do have it, and then you start dealing with the aggression from there, and that's with the eye drops and so forth. So over some years' time, you continue taking eye drops, and then I think a big turnaround in the process for its division will happen in 2016. I went and took a surgery. It's called a trabecular surgery. When somebody may ask, "Hey, Jamie, Ms. Ray, what that surgery encompasses?" Well, they get a tube they place up in your eye that's supposed to help the drainage, because one part of what glaucoma does is it holds and blocks, the drainage of fluid in your eyes. And what after a period of time, it start creating loss of sight for you. And I had that surgery on my left eye. And one thing they do tell you, if your eye get affected, you're gonna lose your sight, and there's nothing they can do about it. You kind of know that going into, but you're looking at that percentage like you don't want to lose anyway. And so it's kind of like this one thing they'll tell you: if you don't have surgery, you're gonna lose your sight. If you do, there's a possibility we can save it, but if it get infected, it's nothing we can do. So I went on and took it, and then the left eye went at that point, and then some years later, during COVID, the my other eye went really bad. So that's what put me in that situation.
Okay, I wasn't aware that you lost one eyesight and then the other one.
Yes.
I thought you lost both at the same time.
Yeah.
No.
It's a little
Okay.
progression.
Different pressures.
Yes.
Okay.
Different pressure. Yes.
Different
Jamie.
pressures.
Correct. Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Well, Jamie, you had something you wanted to ask?
Pain, any pain, like in the progression of it.
So the progression actually kind of no, it's not really any pain. One time, Jamie, if you do get a little pain, is like aerosols and stuff can irritate your eyes because your eyes are very sensitive when you do have glaucoma. So you can find your eye to be bloodshot red. It can swell sometime if any fumes somewhat get into it. You can have a puffy eye, but ordinary for what's going through it is really no pain.
Okay. It's interesting because on Tuesday of this coming week, Tuesday, I'm going back to the doctor that did the cataract surgery on my eyes about 6, 7 weeks ago.
Right.
He did a great job because I have 20/20 vision. However, I had an issue with my left eye that was so sensitive to light that, and it was painful too. It was the eyeball, very painful. And I wore very dark glasses, even in a dark room at my house, because I was so sensitive to light. And I went to a doctor. The doctor said there's an infection. And she gave me some drops, antibiotic drops for the infection, and some other drops. And the pain and the concern was relieved.
Right.
But then about 2 weeks later, it came back again. So she wants me to go back to the doctor that did the cataract surgery because he may have left a little microbe of cataract tissue in the eye. And she wants him to make sure that's not the case. I say that to say, based on what you just said, you had loss in one eye and eventually the other eye.
Yes.
And I had swelling, and God knows I didn't want to have to deal with that loss of vision. I didn't. And while we're on that point, I want to take a moment, and we're going to get back to your situation.
Yes.
You and I both have a friend, Lisa Willa Bowman, and she's dealing with this eye issue as well, but that's not what I want to talk about. Lisa Willa Bowman, former city council member, she lost her grandson yesterday, and you're very much aware of it.
Yes.
She texted me this morning to confirm what I thought I heard or thought I read. And I want to, on behalf of the Ray Tampa podcast, express condolences to Lisa and her family.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Lisa and her family. When I was president of the NAACP, I gave Lisa the Community Activist Award because Lisa frustrated with law enforcement in their effort to secure or find the perpetrator of her son's death. She was frustrated, so she got out there and looked for herself, investigated herself, trying to find out who killed her son. She found success where law enforcement did not. That was amazing. I gave her the NAACP's Community Activist Award based on that.
Yeah.
And I referred her to a group up in Clearwater, and they gave her an award.
Right.
I love Lisa, and when I found out what happened with her grandson, I was torn about that. And I know you were as well.
Yes.
So having said that, I want to move on to our reason for having you here. But certainly, I know you don't mind us extending condolences.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, going back to your situation, how long have you been without your vision?
So right now it happened like mid 2020, so I'm gonna say about a good 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
What support systems do you have in place to assist you? Now I see your beautiful wife over there. What a heck of a support system you have there. But what other support systems do you have?
Yes, absolutely. She's the main support line. Um, also have siblings that also support. I have a office staff that helps support the business parts of stuff I do, so I really couldn't do a lot without them. So there's a little combination of a lot of everybody does a little something to kind of make this the best you can because of what you could run into. And I think Ray, you and I spoke about 2 seconds in the hallway. The mental health part of it, when you lose something dramatically, it does put your thought process in several different directions. And yeah, you need something to kind of steer that back to you can make it. You can beat it. I'm not the only person this ever happened to. So at that point, I know there's people who went on their lives and lived years and I think had a lot of level of success. So I'm gonna kind of follow in that pattern.
Um, that brings us to my next question. You seem very capable of navigating life without vision,
Yes.
from my standpoint.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to reach this particular point of being somewhat confident in navigating life without vision?
I think the biggest thing that happened, the uh, good thing and a bad thing happened at the same time. So the bad thing in 2020 was COVID. Everyone not know about that. Is when the drastic change happened. You know, when it went really south on you and things just got worse and worse. That happened, but at the same time, uh, God had put us in a position as an organization to receive near $1 million in funding to help feed people through COVID. And that requires ordering almost $1 million of food and distribution and supply and delivery and so forth. So meanwhile, while I'm experiencing that, uh, we're all out there in my condition, helping a bunch of other people in somewhat that's highly affected by that. And so you kind of, felt a purpose, like, okay, this did happen, but this is why I'm giving you the chance to, here, show yourself the word that it's not all gone. And we end up successfully doing that very well. We superseded anybody expectations. And to what I'm saying, even to the day, that was a great success. So it really catapulted that you can make it through this.
Great.
Okay.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you know of any medical breakthroughs that's going on or possibilities maybe in the next 5, 10 years?
Yeah, Jimmy, that's a very good question. And absolutely, the answer is yes to that. If you follow the Cleveland Clinic, if anybody can go pull them up on their site for any family member, Cleveland Clinic is very advanced in glaucoma technology. First of all, they're really working on how to just kind of get where you can get rid of glaucoma, not treat it. A lot of stuff is the money's in the treatment. I think Jamie, you're a healthcare professional, but so some cures, which not there yet. They have several mice that they're working on that. Immediately, they do have right now is from a company called Neuralink, which some of your listeners may know is owned by Elon Musk, and they do have advanced it's an implant in your brain in addition to part of your body that should give you at least a silhouette vision first before start coloring in a visibility of someone. In addition to that, they've already helped paralyzed people get out of a wheelchair. So the company is very phenomenal. But though there is some hope, if people could just hold on a little longer, that is afflicted by their maybe it may not happen in my lifetime, but I think futuristic. I think someone coming in a situation like me, there is going to be help.
Well, it's my
Right.
hope, and I pray that I'm correct, that they find a cure, if that's the correct word,
Yes.
for your situation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Because when you said it might not happen in your lifetime, I pray that you're wrong.
Yes.
You're
I
wrong.
just kind of open up.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've been reading on some of the breakthroughs that they're working on,
Yeah.
And this is basically the treatment part.
Yes.
Um, it's mostly dealing with eye drops. They got titanium implants they're
Yes.
putting in the eyes
Yes.
to do that. They have this called DAIQUIRI, and that's another vehicle of some type of eye implant where they're again releasing medication for several months. They have polyactivist, which is biodegradable. It does it for
Yes.
6 months, and then it biodegrades They're working on nanotechnology,
Yeah.
along with the neuro. They're also looking at now this one this is called receptor agonist, and this really deals with diabetes, glaucoma,
Yes.
the whole host that's leading to blindness. And in 2023, they did a study of the retinal ganglion cell. So with this medication, and they were working on 2023, and then it's talking about the 2026 study, found a 44% of reduction of people developing glaucoma. Because what it does is restore the mitochondria in the cells to prevent it. So basically, what you're saying earlier, like fighting back against it.
Yes.
So they're on the way. But that in 2026, that study found that 44% was a reduction in developing glaucoma. That's great.
That's very good, James.
And also taking your B3, that B3 vitamins, that also deals with mitochondrial health building.
Yes.
They got a lot of antibody therapies going on. So that's promising.
Yes, it is.
I like, although I'm not a fan of Elon Musk,
Right.
the whole, hey, we need him.
Yes.
We got to pimp him. If we could pimp him
We do.
for some cures, let's do that.
Yes.
But we need him because you remember Star Trek, that guy, what they call it, he had on those glasses. That's kind of what you're talking about in a sense.
Yes, that's what it is.
Without the glasses, they
Correct.
can go direct in the head.
Correct.
And give you silhouettes, visions, or it could be like you know how like night vision goggles?
Yes.
It could be like that. And of course, they'll perfect upon that too to make it more realistic. So that's great. I'm excited about stuff like that.
As the future is, it's going to be bright for, if we can
Mhm.
keep up the same technology.
Yeah. They say in 10 years, we're going to see a lot of leading edge stuff. It's going to
Yes.
be, groundbreaking. So let's just keep prayed up and look for it.
Keep
Yeah.
prayed up.
Yes.
Keep prayed up. Keep prayed up. We're praying for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Praying for everybody else out there that needs our prayers.
Yes.
I want to ask you this question. Now, you mentioned the Cleveland Clinic.
Yes.
Are you aware of any other clinics that have the type of standing that the Cleveland Clinic has
Yes.
working on this issue?
Yeah. Good. Very good question, Ray. If your inability to travel, countries like India, Germany, so maybe one or two more can help them. They're in the cutting edge of this too. Also,
Okay.
obviously you have to be, blessed to be able to travel, and I'm sure you have to be able to pay those expenses. Kind of like like Jamie and Ray, you guys are aware of like Cuba, who are very advanced in some, and at least in medicine. I don't know how come the United States don't really do what they can do. But if you could, they're there, and they're dealing with this because they're into cures. I think you take the business aspect of big pharma here in this country, they're not moved on that in those countries, and I think maybe holistically, if you was in those countries, a lot of some of our foreign things that we're trying to treat, I think we could probably cure in other advanced third world countries, but more advanced and stuff that systemically affect people like us.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's so encouraging that you are really keeping up on this stuff, and I can understand why. You're an intelligent man. So naturally, you're doing what you have to do to
Right.
stay up on this information.
Yes.
Toriana, talk to us about a typical day in the life of Toriana Parker. What's involved? A typical day.
Okay. Well, and God bless that everybody get to see this. But when you guys get up, you get to look at the ceiling and see the light come through the window and all that good stuff, and let you know it's a morning, whether it's cloudy out. Mine's, it kind of ends like when you go to bed, same type of complexion when you wake up, but you get your feet together. Obviously, it's very significant to have someone in your life. So, you may not good and match your clothes, but my clothes are matched up pretty well on the bed. You can one thing about at least this situation is you do establish a good muscle memory on moving. Like you can move through your house pretty much well without any assistance due to the fact that your brain remembers how far is it to the wall, to the window, to the shower, so forth. Pretty much non-assistant. So you can pretty maneuver in there, take a bath, shower, come back, get fully dress yourself, which your muscle memory that's like reaching out, tying your shoes after you've known it for 80, 90 years, VHA. You can still do that without even looking down. And then it comes to us getting up. I'm not a person that's retired, so I have several businesses, and I get on the phone with people to get stuff ordered and clients still to see, and I do some CE stuff on my Alexa to kind of keep your brain kind of stimulated to do that. And I kind of get on. I go to especially up to a week ago, I go from one office to a restaurant and always close at midnight and turn around and do the whole thing all over again the next morning. So a day can go by real quick to a week, and a week can go real quick by a month. So I think if you're going through this, if you can really keep your mind occupied on everything else but the current situation you're in, is a very survivable situation. The one thing I think, if you have a loved one, and I'll give this suggestion, I believe you should definitely speak to them, talk to them. If you can read social media, you can read the news to them beyond if they turn CNN, which sometimes I listen to. Keep their mind stimulated, because the brain has to stay very active. So you can be very conscious of your moves so you don't trip. Your brain can memorize a bunch of stuff that'll help you survive this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember hearing you say at one time that you have a photogenic memory.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to test it, because if you say you have it, you have it.
I'm a gamer.
You're a gamer.
I'm a gamer. Yes.
Well, I'm going to ask you a simple question.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's simple.
Yeah.
Why did Trump criticize the Supreme Court this week?
Well, he had a 6-3, vote against him, and 2 of the 6 was people he handpicked, and it just really hurt his feelings really bad, which I'm glad, because so, he got another one coming too when they vote on naturalization of born citizens. That's going to come up, and he's going to pretty much take another L there. And I'm glad the courts are holding the line for us, because right now we got to hopefully get through this midterm, and in the next couple of years we have to. Because here's one thing, speaking of Trump, I'm glad you brought that up, Ray, is he's affected a lot of funding that will help a person like in my situation for treatment and cures and all that. He swiped $500 billion away from that. So he's impeding the progress of a lot of people. And this is a president that doesn't care about disability or any I don't think he cares for people who have any disabilities or anything. You've heard previous comments. So we definitely got to change him in 2026.
Great. Excellent. I didn't want this to become a political discussion, but it's not necessarily totally political.
Yeah.
Because you said something that's so important. He took funding away.
Yes.
That could benefit people such as yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
500 billion, is that the number?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Research funding.
A lot of money.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else you want to say to our audience?
Hey, I just say, if you have a family member that is going through it, there's a lot of resources out there that you definitely want to reach into. Sometimes you can get ahead of it. It don't have to. What happened to myself and many others don't have to happen to everyone. If you can start like paying attention to some early signs, bubbles in your eyes, when it get dark, it's very dark. Please go see your eye professional, because some things are preventable. I'm not saying it's for sure it was preventable. Some stuff can be inevitable, but you can get ahead of some stuff. So if you experiencing anything with your eyes, light is too bright, dark is too dark, a lot of blurriness, if your eyes water a lot, all those are early symptoms. And just please go see your healthcare professional, or speak to someone for sure.
Excellent. And that's so important. And as I mentioned earlier, I have an appointment on Tuesday to go see my eye professional. And hopefully everything's going to be okay. Jay?
Yeah. And now you mentioned also that you had a program started, or you were thinking of doing a program to educate people in the community about health, not just glaucoma, but overall health and how they should be taking care of their bodies and all that. So what happened with that?
Yeah, so prior to 2020, 2019, it was a Walgreens located back on 62nd Avenue South, and I think it was about a 14,000 square foot facility. And what we was campaigning for healthcare to go specifically to stuff that afflict us, diabetes, sugar, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
How about glaucoma? You only can go to a eye doctor to check your pressure, but why can you not check your pressure at home like you can do your blood pressure or your sugar level? We need something that's applicable towards certain communities that you can assess any day instead of you, Jamie. If your urine rate, eye pressure was up today, and they told you we can't get you into next week, you don't understand how much catastrophic damage could done to your eye
Right.
if you cannot urgently see someone, or if your pressure's up to get your pressures down. And I'm not,
Right.
I know I'm preaching quite telling you, Jamie, but I was just kind of saying it to audience, like
Right.
how really, you need something that you can go in like a walk-in or urgent care
Mhm.
center. Fortunately, I remember I had something wrong with my eye one time. I went to the emergency room, and there was nothing they could do for you. Probably because they don't have optometrists and no one like that on staff. So, overnight can cause a lot of stuff. I know overnight when this was happening, things were looking a little different each day. So you could see the progression. So just imagine if it's starting and you don't get any help,
Right.
then you can really be in a bad situation.
So you're saying that you experienced certain things, went to the emergency room and found out that there was nothing they could do there?
No, they don't really have eye doctors at a emergency room.
Right.
So therefore,
Special.
no, especially they can tell you tomorrow. Hope you can get into one. And if you're already seeing an eye doctor or something, they can make some way into it. But if you're going to be a new patient or you just experience some, you can find a little wait in between when you call them and when they get into you. And there could be some damage to your eyes in that meantime, because remember, every night you go to sleep, fluid sitting on top of your eyes, the damage is starting. If you have a drainage situation, in which with most people afflicted glaucoma, that's what destroys their eye cells. I mean, the nerves in the eyes. That's where your problem lies at.
It's important information.
So you really had no drainage going on.
Right. So it was holding overnight. Yes.
Right.
So, and sometimes if you wake up, Jamie, you'll wake up and you will have like a lot of matter all over your eye. And kind
Yeah.
of like a lot of stuff kind of went over at night with your eyes. And you're now clearing it and trying to drain it all the time. And,
Right.
it could become problematic. And if you don't really urgently go get seen, and mind you, for people don't get too false expectations about eye doctors. Remember, the medical fields, they're practicing, so they're telling you stuff that they're practicing. They At one time, I used to carry on 5 different eye drops,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to do the same thing, not knowing that those were all eye drops, all contributing to progression of it.
Wow.
Because they were just saying, go get this and go get this brand, and go get
Right.
this. So now suddenly you touch my pocket, I had like this drop here and a drop this and
Oh,
this drop. And
steroids.
yes, I had that too.
Yeah,
Yes,
right,
that's
right.
correct.
So you're saying those drops contributed to your loss of vision?
Again, I think when you take a drop, depending on what your level of glaucoma, your eye immediately goes red first. Some people have to depend on what it is.
Mhm.
And it takes a while for it to kick in. Like when you go to eye doctor, sometimes your pressure's up, they put a drop and your pressure still is up. So it's not going down immediately. So is when it eventually sends it down, but it first sends it up before it goes down. And let's say if you put another topical on top of that, then you got if you were pressure at 24, now it's at 28 or 32. And I think Jamie, with your healthcare professional here, could tell you that's bad news if your eye pressure's up that high.
Yes, it is.
That's so important. And I'm not an eye specialist. I'm not an eye doctor. I'm not anything of that nature. But common sense told me to stop that steroid eye drop I was using.
Very good.
Mhm.
Yes.
I stopped it.
Yes.
And when I went back to the doctor and I was asked, "Are you still taking?" I said, "No, I'm not taking that prednisone. That's the name."
I had that. I had that.
You had that
I
one
had
too.
to. Yes.
Prednisone
Yeah.
is a steroid.
Yes.
I wasn't putting that in my eyes anymore. And I made that decision.
It runs your sugar up too.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's exactly why I made that
Yeah.
decision.
I had prednisone too.
Okay.
The bottle there. Nice.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this. Toriano, thanks a lot. You've been a valuable source of
Okay.
information.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Cole.
We
Yes.
appreciate you being here. Really do. As always, I want to thank my co-host, Jamie Wilson, for his contributions
Yes.
to today's discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast and ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. on 99.1 FM, The Bird. We want to remind you, please call the Supervisor of Elections Office and request your mail-in ballot. So important. This election is so important. And with all that being said, good evening.